What's up YouTube, Capital G here, gonna give you guys my Karakuri Machina Plant Regional deck list. I went to Piedmont, South Carolina Regional Saturday. I got 9th place. I honestly got screwed out of my top 8. I'll have that linked on the bottom because it was a pairing fuck up in the last round where 2 players got paired down instead of me playing one of the X and 1s and whatnot, and again I ended up getting 9th. So a lot of people were asking, and you know, you ask and you shall receive. So I just wanted to make sure I played the regional first before I showed you guys the deck list, because I have played against people who, you know, I posted my deck and then I took it to regionals and people know what I'm running. I don't want people to have an advantage over me and stuff like that. So gonna go ahead and show the deck off. I'll talk about some of the cards I liked, some other cards I didn't like. I've been testing this deck only on YVD for about a month. Never played it in real life until the regionals, so it did feel kind of like a new experience, but I liked it. And again, I'll tell you about what I liked and what I didn't like. 3 Gearframe, best opening play that the deck has as far as monsters go. Get you Fortress, which lets you combo out, summon a bunch of Burritos, possibly make a Stardust, and then draw a lot of cards. 3 Fortress. Fortress was good. It worked in the Samurai match, sometimes just by itself. I drew it quite a bit though, to be honest, so you might actually be able to get away with just 2. 3 copies of Strategist. You have to run 3. It's your draw power, and it's almost always the card you'll bring out after your last Burrito, you know what I mean, to let you draw cards. And it actually works sometimes in like really obscure situations, like against frogs and fish. You can turn their low attack guys into attack mode and run them over, then do some damage. And then against like Chimera Fortress, which has 0 attack, you can normal this and turn it to defense and then attack over it. 2 copies of Soldier. It's Emerald's Blade for the deck. I mean, once it dies, you basically just get whatever card or whatever Karakuri best fits the situation. You know what I mean? 1 copy of Kuick. Like Full Helm Knight. Kuick was okay. I got the effect off a couple times. Usually I'll try and get Watchdog, but sometimes I get Strategist. So I just get whatever is in my graveyard, to be completely honest. 1 copy of Watchdog. You have to run this. Its effect is almost completely irrelevant. The fact that it's a 4-star Karakuri tuner is like the sole reason why you run it. You know, it lets you go into an 8. 1 copy of Saznak. I always mispronounce that. It's a 1 card out to Sheen, Stardust, Thunder King, Fossil Dyna. The list goes on. Elemental Hill or Shining. The best part of this is it doesn't actually destroy the card, it just sends it. So, you know, they can't change Stardust or Sheen. They can't play Magatama. I had so many people waste all their cards trying to get Sheet on the field only to run into this and end up losing because of it. The Plant Engine, 2 copies of Lonefire Blossom, obviously, because you want to get your tuners out. You know, that's like the sole reason. 1 copy of Dandylion. I've seen people not run Dandylion. It's a mistake in my opinion, not only because you can't run Formula then and you can't have access to the Colossal OTK, but I mean, there are just a lot of good reasons. Formula gives you another good card to dump for Dandylion. It lets you go into Shooting Star, and just a lot of good reasons to run Dandylion. Spore and Glow Up Bulb are what lets you synchro with Fortress and Beret to make a bunch of synchros in 1 turn. 1 Effect Veiler. It seemed really good in theory. It's a 1-star, and it's pretty, I mean, it's like almost staple level. But to be completely honest, outside of Plant Synchro, I don't really feel like anybody really threatened me with monster effects throughout the entire tournament. I mean, against like Fish, yeah, but not in game 1. You know what I mean? Like this is better served in the side deck in my opinion. Like it never was really amazing, and I never ever wanted to sync with it, which kind of took away from my explosiveness. So 2 copies of MST to get rid of back rows. 2 copies of Duality. I think you might be able to get away with not running Duality. I wouldn't advise it though, because it gives you more consistent hands, and mainly it lets you get the other piece of the combo. Like if you have Fortress but you don't have a Plant tuner, or you don't have the 1-star tuner or 1-for-1, it gets you, you know, Lonefire Blossom, or it'll get you Trap Stun or Trunade when you have the pieces in your hand but you're scared of your opponent using like Solemn Warning. 1 copy of Limiter. It was amazing. Like just Limiter is good because you don't even have to have these synchros. You can just attack with like Gearframe and Soldier and Limiter and probably win. You know what I mean? It's I limit search for game at least 5 times during the tournament. 1-for-1 is probably the second best card in this deck after Trunade. It's nuts. Instant Fusion, I like 1 copy. I tested with 2 at first. I didn't like it. I kept drawing it when I didn't have Strategist. But that 1 copy is always pretty good in my opinion. There are times where you can use like Spore and make Baronic for game and stuff like that. So it does have other uses outside of Strategist, but I think 1 copy is fine. 1 copy of Monster Reborn. Foolish Burial is just obvious in this deck. Get you mainly Glow Up Bulb and Dandylion. I mean, occasionally you'll use it for Spore, but not that much. I mean, that's just another reason why you want to run Dandylion, because you run Foolish, and Foolish is staple in this deck. Trunade is the best card in Yu-Gi-Oh! Book of Moon protects your monsters. After you combo out, you don't want your opponent doing anything stupid, especially if you don't run Effect Veiler. Mind Control just seemed kind of obvious in this deck. I mean, we run level 3s, we run a level 4, we run level 1, so we run a bunch of different tuners and a lot of different levels. So Mind Control just seemed like a really good idea. I liked it a lot, to be honest. It's one of the best ways to get around Thunder King Ryo too. 3 copies of Trap Stun. I like this. I have been testing with 2 copies of Trap Stun and 7 tools. I don't like that as much. This lets you be a lot more explosive. If you look at the version that Top 16, the YCS Paris, it runs this same lineup of 3 Trap Stuns, and 3 Trap Stuns is just so freaking amazing, to be honest. Solemn Warning, 2 copies, obviously. I mean, basically everything in the format except for Fish and Frogs run that. Solemn Judgment, which is obvious. Mirror Force is terrible. This card is so bad right now in the format. You have to think about the fact that Dragoonity, all they do is make Stardust, so it's dead. And Gravekeepers, you know, they're starting to play 2 and 3 copies of 7 tools of the Bandit, and they have Descendant against Samurai once they make Sheen instead, and against Frog Monarchs and Fish OTK. You know, it's just not that good of a card right now. I would swap this for Royal Oppression, because every single game, except for maybe 2, I sided Royal Oppression in. And with 3 Trap Stun, Royal Oppression gets even better. That's what the guy at YCS Paris did, and I've been talking to him, and it's amazing. You know, you can just Trap Stun, go nuts on your opponent, set Oppression, you know, and flip it. Or you can already have Oppression face up and just go Trap Stun and then just kick their chest in. 1 Trap Stun, I liked it personally. Not just seeing your opponent's monsters and disrupting them, but mainly just seeing what your opponent has as far as defense. You know, you'll know if you can combo out on them without them using Effect Veiler or without them hitting you with Warning. I mean, the fact that I get to see all your spells and traps is like the most important thing, because I know even if I don't have the Trap Stun or the Giant Trunade, if I can go ahead and do it. I mean, if you have a whole bunch of bluffs, you know, I'm just gonna go off because I've already seen them with Trap Stun. With Trap Dustshoot. Call of the Haunted, you run the Plant Engine so you can make Shooting Star and stuff like that. And Call of the Haunted is just pretty obvious in this deck. The side deck, I ran 2 D.D Crow, good against the Fish matchup. I mainly ran it for Dragoonities, but I didn't play that, so I was kind of disappointed. 2 Kinetics, I played 2 Samurai, I smashed them both. This card got it in. I didn't play any Miracle Heroes, but this card is nice against them too. 1 copy of Effect Veiler. I'll probably take the 1 copy out of the main and put it into the sideboard. Effect Veiler is amazing coming out the side deck. In the main deck, not so much. Gorz, a lot of people will use their warnings and stuff like that on your gear frame so that you can't even set up your plays, or on your synchros. So, you know, decks like Gravekeepers and Heroes, they end up attacking and you drop Gorz and they can't do anything. This was probably the second best card in the side deck after Oppression. This got it in against Chaos Plants or Plant Synchro, whatever you want to call it, 2 different decks, which is the worst matchup in my personal opinion. Also wrecked against Sabers too. I played Sabers. I ended up winning that match. 2 Chain Disappearance is just good against too much right now. 2 Shadow Mirrors. I was kind of terrified against Gravekeepers. I didn't play any, so, you know, that was kind of unfortunate. I should have just ran Bottomless, to be honest, but I don't know, Bottomless would have done much more. 1 copy of Oppression. It worked so well. I think I'm going to main it. And then 1 Dust Tornado. I didn't really side it in. It was just kind of like a last minute throw in. Mind Crush against Sabers. I got it off against Dark Soul. It beat face. Extra deck. Extra deck is pretty simple. I mean, there's nothing too nuts in here. 3 copy of Barreto. You have to run 3. Do not run 2 because you cannot fully combo out and you cannot take advantage of this deck's explosiveness without it. So you have to run 3. 2 copies of Bereave. You can run 1. I wouldn't advise it. In matches like the Frog matchup or the Fish OTK matchup, they leave a lot of little monsters on the field like Treeborn and shit. You could turn into attack and beat their face in. Shooting Star Dragon was amazing. I made it against Samurai. They couldn't play around it. I made it against Fish. They couldn't play around it when you back it up with Failure for the Baronic play. And it's just a good card. You can make it essentially for 1 card, so why not? Stardust, obvious. Scrap Dragon, obvious. Colossal, because of that Colossal Armorion OTK. That's pretty much the only reason to run Colossal. I think it's kind of almost outdated, to be honest. It's great against Karakuri, but with Karakuri, it's not that great against everything else. I might actually take this out for a second formula, to be completely honest. Black Rose, because you have to have another 7-star that isn't Beret, because sometimes you have to use tokens to synchro. Baronic, obvious. Catastor, obvious. Cybersource, because I only run 1 instant fusion, so you gotta run Cybersource. And then Formula Synchron, which is really good all day. I mean, a couple of times I would have like Catastor and or Cybersource and play Formula and then sync for Beret and then get my combos off that way. And then Armory Arm for the second half of the Colossal Armory Arm OTK. Even if I took Colossal out, you still want to run Armory Arm. The main thing is this card's a machine. So actually, I did Limeriger this one time. So that was kind of funny. So tell me what you guys think. I don't know at my next regionals, which is like mid next month, if I'm going to run this or if I'm going to run Psychic OTK. But if I do run this, I'm definitely going to make some changes, like no Effect Veiler in the main deck. No Mirror Force. I'm probably going to play a version very similar to what topped YCS Paris. So, thanks for watching, guys, and look out for more videos.